Hey YouTube, it's Siberian Tiger here with a quick review for the Sideshow Collectibles premium format figure of Kylo Ren. This is the standard collector's edition, limited to 2,000. There is an exclusive one, sold out, that it was limited to 1,500 that had a swap out fist that enabled you to just have his fist. You know, the lightsaber was not ignited and you could just strap it onto here. Personally, this guy needs to be displayed with his lightsaber, so it's for me a no-brainer to not have the exclusive, although it would be nice just for the collectability factor. Although I know there are those that display these guys in smaller shelving that would almost make displaying this impossible with the width and the angle of how his lightsaber and hand are. But I'll give you a quick bottom to top overview. You know, try to get some close-ups so you can see what's going on with this guy. The base is taken directly out of the movie, or the scene where Kylo lands on that planet Takodana, not to be confused with Taco Bell. The scene is almost a direct rip of the pose that he makes when he's freezing Rey after he deflects her, you know, laser, kind of like has her momentarily frozen before he takes her. I know a lot of people are saying that it's the pose that he makes when he's freezing the Poe Dameron's shot, but no, this is definitely the scene where he's kidnapping Rey. Again, let's go with the bottom, work our way up. The base, I don't believe it's a completely solid polystone base, but it is heavy, and obviously it's pretty thick compared to the original Star Wars bases. This, I think, is a plastic insert kind of glued into here. It almost looks like it's a push button turn on the light effect, but there is no light effect on this figure. The base has a nice silver, not quite a chrome look, but got some weathering effects here. This, on the other hand, is a damaged out of the box, brand new, which is unfortunate, but it almost does go with the weathering effect. So if that's the one thing I have as a problem on this, then I can accept that. You know, we got some kind of like moss growing on here, whatever that is, a leaf or some bark, dirt. I know the pre-production photos had his robes with a dirt effect going all the way around, where on mine at least, and I'm not sure if it's every single one, there is absolutely no weathering, which can be good or bad because I don't remember him getting that dirty in the movie. If you display him correctly, I can't say correctly, if you display him in a way that his robes are draped, you can show off this, you know, nice boot. When this thing was packaged, there's some bubble wrap or something going on around it because there are some straps. I can see if I can get some detail on there. They kind of like flare out. You can see the tip of it right there without. There we go. Very fragile, I could imagine. But it is cool, very detailed. The actual materials for this, I'm gonna guess some sort of resin, but then some polystone here. So you can see all that going on here. He's got an under tarp kind of thing. I don't know the technical term, but it's a layered robe. So there's this, and then there's what's underneath of it. It's very awesome to display if you take a lot of time, or you know, it comes in all crumpled up and wrinkled, so there's a lot of work you got to do to get this robe to look nice. But you take the time to do it and that's your thing, you can make this thing look pretty amazing. The actual fabric here, according to the description on the website, is an 8-layered printing effect to give the appearance of the actual like screen used materials. And you know, looking at it in person, it definitely looks like the movie version just got shrunk down to 1/4 scale. So they did a bang up job there. Wiring all through here and here, and the base of this part. This apparently is, again from the description on the website, real leather. So let me give you a quick spin around here. I don't have a Lazy Susan, so this is all done by hand. Again, with the base, like, you know, this looks like someone just dropped a stick on here. Looks pretty amazing. The top area of his cloak is all frayed here, just like in the movies. It's pretty much exactly as you would see it. And here is where you would plug in the exclusive lightsaber. I'm hearing that that's a pretty difficult task, but excuse me, got a little cold, so get a drink of water. So this fist is magnetic. I did see a close, if I look close here, it almost looks like it was chipped here and repainted. And this was opened by me. I was the first person to actually take it out of its shell. So Sideshow went ahead and did that themselves. But the burning effect that that paint job gives is amazing. And how cool the wires look like they're, you know. And the base of his lightsaber, again, kind of resembles the theme going on here. Now this lightsaber itself is glued onto the hand and is a plastic. Maybe it's better compared to the black contrast, but you could see some of the white highlights throughout to give it the burning look. I've seen pictures and have heard a lot of people, I don't know if it's due to heat or what, I don't know, that these things actually just limp, you know. Obviously the little pun there is Kylo Ren's a little too young for something like that to happen to him, but obviously that would warrant a return or an exchanged piece. It just fits in there magnetically, nice and snug. The arms, both of them, are sculpted polystone, and magnetic key plugs in. Same with this hand or arm, magnetic key. The hand itself is pretty nicely sculpted. I would imagine very fragile, all polystone. And the money shot with his face. Again, I love how this cloak he has just, you know, is spot on to what it was in the movies. You know, it was more on this side of his shoulder and just works amazingly. The paint here actually looks like chrome. There is battle damage throughout his mask. His hood is wired through here, so you can pose this any which way you'd like. It does obviously slide off to reveal his entire helmet, which again is another separate piece. It is magnetically hinged, nice and snug in there. See the keys. Actually 3. You got the 1, 2, and then the 3. There's no way you can misassemble this thing. There is no articulation to his head, but to give you a more close-up focused look, there is his helmet, the top. The actual eyes are what seems to be a fabric lens. They look pretty awesome. So, you know, this thing works amazingly. It just captures Kylo Ren perfectly, except for the whiny aspect, you know. As we all know that Skywalker related people usually have that whiny mentality, at least for the younger years. But again, this can be adjusted, you know, to your liking. You can just take it off if you prefer. But there are some interesting little things going on back here too. There are buttons that snap together if you want to keep this down, but obviously you can unbutton them. As you can see, there's one there. And I had mine layered just to avoid that button. I think the way I have it sitting now is just fine without the use of that. But that's pretty much this guy in a nutshell. Again, I don't think I got too much of a close-up of his frayed tunic thingy here. But this guy is definitely worth the asking price, which is pretty hefty. I know they've been increasing prices. I prefer to see this cheaper, but it's definitely an imposing piece and definitely a standout in any collection, Star Wars wise. More close up on the base. Got a little log here. But yeah, final thoughts are that this thing is definitely worth owning. I'm really happy I picked it up. I was questioning it because, you know, Kylo Ren's a great character, but is he going to change his, you know, outfits throughout the movies? Will this be obsolete in a few years? Or will this be the definitive costume pose and look of what Kylo Ren will be, you know? If you wait too long to make that choice, you might regret it, pay the eBay prices later. So I think now is a great time to jump on this guy if you can afford him. Definitely pick him up. You know, feel free to leave some comments, questions, like, all that YouTube jive. I really appreciate your views, and thanks so much for watching. May the Force be with you. Over and out.